easy seated. Sitting up, nice and tall in easy seated position, hands on top of knees. Rolling those shoulder blades back. Let's begin to shut down our eyes, grounding down. Inhaling in through the nose and out through the mouth. On your next inhale in, let's begin to flutter the eyelids open. Releasing the hands from on top of the knees. Circle sweep those arms up. Inhale in. Dropping that left hand over to the left hand side. Right hand reaches over to the left, keeping that chest open. Releasing back towards center, meeting in prayer hands. And releasing that right hand over to the right. Left hand reaches to the right, keeping that chest open. And let's begin to flow from side to side with your own breath. Pausing where needed. Starting to slow down that movement, evening it out, meeting at the top of prayer hands, bringing it down to heart center, hinging your hips slightly over to the left, keeping your abdomen facing forward, dropping that right hand on top of that left knee. The left hand uses as a kickstand. Let's twist over to the left. And unwinding ourselves back towards center. Let's go ahead and interlace our fingers, flipping our palms, palm size out, going ahead and arching our spine, hollowing out our abdomen, releasing into a seated cat position, and holding, continuing with that breath. Before unwinding our fingertips, walking them behind us, interlacing our fingers, rolling our shoulder blades back, meeting in a seated cow, opening up that chest, throat chakra. And unwinding your hands back towards center. Using your right hand as a kickstand, left hand reaches over to that right knee, and let's twist to the right, making sure that our belly stays facing forward. And on the next inhale, let's release back towards that neutral, easy seated position. And release to a tabletop position. Releasing to a neutral tabletop position. With wrists under elbows. Knees under hips. Let's go ahead and drop it down into a cow pose. Dropping our belly, opening up our chest, and hold. And release up into a cat pose, pushing the floor away, hollowing out that abdomen. Flow through cat-cow with your own breath. Stretching through the spine. Exaggerating the movements. Starting to slow it down. Evening them out. And we'll meet in that neutral tabletop position. In neutral tabletop position, let's begin to extend that right leg out. Hip level, toes flexed. Once you feel grounded down, let's begin to extend that left hand. Trying to find a bit of balance. We could all use more in life. Releasing that left hand down, bending that right knee, releasing it back down to tabletop position, flowing into a cow pose. Up, into a cat pose. Releasing back to that neutral tabletop position and extending that left leg behind us, hip level, toes flexed. Before extending that right arm, trying to turn ourselves into a straight line. Releasing that right hand back down to that mat, bending that left knee, releasing it back down to that tabletop position. Let's begin to walk our hands out just slightly. And we'll find those tabletop hip circles. Dropping our hips back, going over to the left, and all the way over to the right. Making sure to breathe. Starting to slow it down. And meeting back in that neutral tabletop. Walking our hands out. Extending that right leg out. Walking our arms up, making it an active gate pose. Rolling those shoulder blades back. We'll drop our right hand on top of our right leg. And hinge over to the right. Walking ourselves back up to that active gate. We'll release our hands back down to that tabletop position. Releasing our right leg behind us. Releasing back down to that tabletop position. Walking our hands out. Then we'll go ahead and lunge over to the right and start those tabletop hip circles. Slowing it down, meeting back to neutral, and walking our hands back to that tabletop position, extending that left leg, walking our arms up, making it an active gate pose, releasing our left hand down on top of our left leg, and hinging over to the left, keeping our chest open. Walking ourselves back up to that active gate pose. Releasing our hands back down. Extending that left leg behind us. Dropping it back down to that neutral tabletop position. And let's release into a neutral tabletop. Floating it into a cow pose. From cow to down dog. From down dog to child's. From child's pose, let's release into tabletop. And from tabletop to cow. From cow to down dog. And dropping those knees from down dog. Finding tabletop to child's. From child's to tabletop. Tabletop to cow. Cow to down dog. Down dog to tabletop. To child's. To tabletop. To cow. Down dog. Tabletop. Child's pose. Child's pose to tabletop. Tabletop to down dog. Down dog to tabletop. Tabletop to child's. Child's to tabletop. One more time. Tabletop. Let's go ahead to down dog. Down dog to tabletop. Tabletop to child's. Child's. Back to tabletop. Meeting back into that tabletop position. We'll kick it back to down dog. And pedal it out. Make sure that your down dog is a little bit wider. Evening out those pedals. Slowing it down. And we'll rise up on those toes, walking ourselves to the front, meeting in a forward fold. Make sure to keep your gaze forward and your feet hip level so you don't get dizzy. Bending those knees, circle sweeping our arms up. We'll meet in heart center. We're going to go ahead and go over some modified prenatal sun salutations. So, circle sweeping those arms up. Releasing down into that forward fold. Making sure to be gazing forward. Half lift. Release back down. Planting our hands, bending our knees. Begin to wide-legged step yourself back to a down dog. Finding your inhale and an exhale. before walking ourselves up, wide-legged, back to forward fold, keeping our gaze forward. Half lift, fold, bending our knees, circle, sweeping our arms up, meeting in heart center. Circle, sweeping our arms up, releasing down into that forward fold. Half lift and fold. Planting our hands, bending our knees. Let's go ahead and do that wide-legged stretch back, finding that wide-legged down dog. And we'll begin to step ourselves forward, meeting in a forward fold. Half lift and fold. Bending our knees, circle, sweeping our arms up, meeting in heart center. One more time. Circle, sweeping those arms up, releasing down into that forward fold. Half lift and fold. Planting our hands, bending our knees, stepping back to that wide-legged down dog and hold. And then stepping ourselves back, meeting in that forward fold. Half lift. Fold. Bending those knees, circle, sweeping those arms up, and releasing to heart center. Finding Tadasana mountain pose, and pedaling it out. Wiping your face, grabbing a drink of water if needed, before meeting back in mountain pose. Stepping that right foot back, we'll meet in Warrior One. From Warrior One to Warrior Two. From Warrior Two to side angle. From side angle, releasing that bend in that front knee to triangle. Using a block if you don't want to go as low. Bending that knee, meeting back in side angle. And we'll release to Warrior Two. Reverse warrior. Warrior Two. And back to mountain. For mountain pose, let's go ahead. Grand over that right foot. Left foot steps back. Finding Warrior One. From Warrior One to Warrior Two. From Warrior Two to side angle. Releasing the bend in that front knee to triangle. Using a block if needed. Bending that knee, meeting back in side angle. Back to warrior two. Reverse warrior. Back to warrior two. To mountain. Thank you very much for practicing with me today.